Hello, and welcome back to That's Good, Pick It Up. In today's episode, Nate Oxman sits back down with Steve Scott for part 2 to talk about his book, Hey Tiger, You Need to Move Your Mark Back. Hope you enjoyed the first one. This one is just as good as they continue on their conversation. If you like it, please be sure to like and subscribe. And now, That's Good, Pick It Up.
And after that 79, the first day, the next year, it has to take some mental strength just to say, I can shoot, a few under here or 5 under and make it, no problem. I'm not going to shoot another 79 and just slam the trunk and move on, right? I'm going to grind this out. Is that something that you've always been able to do, just to kind of focus, and, play the mental game as well as the golf course?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, you just have to kind of bear down and give it everything you got. I think that you know, that's the hallmark of trying to play good golf, playing it competitively for sure, because you're always going to have downturns in the game, and
Yeah.
you have to always overcome obstacles or poor rounds or you know, just bad kind of downturns in your game, and you've got every day's a new day, every hole's a new hole, and so it teaches you a lot about life, really, to overcome moments like that and kind of turn things around. You do have to be pretty strong mentally to do that. It's easy to go the other way. It's easy to
Yeah.
throw in the towel.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people do that,
Yeah.
uh, but it's the challenge, it's the mental challenge to do it uh, when you're not playing well, when your back's against the wall. I think that's probably the most satisfying golf that you can play. Knowing when you have to do something and then pulling it off.
Absolutely.
I think there's no more satisfying feeling than that.
Your first match was against John Harris. Did you know that he was a decorated amateur player when you were, slated to match up against him?
Yeah, vaguely. I knew that he was pretty good. I know he won the U.S. Amateur a few years prior, so I mean, he was still he was still a heck of a player. I knew I would have to play great golf. And I did. I hit some amazing shots, and
That was your second match, I
yeah,
guess, right?
that was the second round match, and yeah, I knew I had to play great. John was a heck of a competitor, and really sad to he unfortunately passed away last year, and
Yeah.
we were close. We played on the Walker Cup team together the following year, 1997, and we always stayed in touch. And but what a great competitor he was, and a true gentleman of the game.
And then you had Kelly Miller in the next round. Um, is it hard to kind of grind it out physically too? I mean, we touched on the mental stuff. Like, how hard is that week physically for you?
I mean, physically, not a huge deal because I was 19 years old and used to walking all the time. I mean, it was not, that wasn't the hard part, I don't think. I think
Okay.
because you're running on adrenaline, and I just think it's the mental toll that a 7-day golf tournament plus practice rounds takes on you.
Yeah.
There's just there's a lot that goes into it. And, you keep making it deeper into the match play. And you want to continue to go and continue to make it farther. Yeah, it's a mental torture test. Really, is what it
Yeah.
is.
And then you played Ray Floyd's son in the round of 8. Were you guys teammates
Yep.
yet at that time? I forget.
Yeah, Robert and I we were teammates. Yeah, we played in the semifinals. Actually,
Okay.
we were paired together against each other in the semis. So that was actually kind of tough because we knew that one player was going to play in the Masters and one wasn't, and it was funny because Stanford teammates Tiger and Joel Kreibel played against each other as well,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and so that was a very strange semifinals in the U.S. Amateur. I don't know if that's ever happened again or since or anything. So um, yeah, it was that was kind of interesting, but it was a tough match. I mean, I knew Robert was a great competitor, and I knew it was going to be a really tough match. And I was fortunate enough to pull one out on the 16th hole to win 3-2.
And then you talked about this in the book, how, you knew of Tiger. I don't think you guys had played together before. and you're
Right.
just kind of like blown away by his length early on, right? Like this guy is almost inhuman the way he could hit the golf ball.
Yeah, yeah, that's the perfect word, inhuman. He's yeah, I think that we were paired together in a college event about 9 months before that U.S. Amateur,
Okay.
and it really helped. It really helped me actually. It really helped because I didn't. I knew that I mean, because that day I shot 80 and he shot 70, and he was the co-medalist. He was the medalist at the tournament, the college event in Hilton Head, and I played horribly, and but I got caught up in watching him hitting these towering three irons, 240 yards over water. I mean, guys weren't doing that at all back then. I mean, it
No.
was, now every other tour player can seem to do that, but nobody was doing it back then. And he just hit shots that just made your jaw drop. And I was watching him a lot that day. And then, so my strategy in that final match was to just not watch him hit a shot. I mean,
Yeah.
I just didn't want to watch him. I didn't want to get caught up because because it's so easy to.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't watch him swing. Obviously, I heard his ball hit the club, and sounds like a gunshot coming off the face of the club. But yeah, he just I couldn't get caught up in his world. I could only focus on mine.
Was that hard for you to do? Did you have to keep reminding yourself, like, "Hey, this is my game plan. I'm not going to watch him hit a shot. I got to keep doing that." Did you have to keep giving yourself those reminders? Did Christy do that for you, or how'd that work out?
That's very hard. Yeah, yeah, that's very hard to do, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, to not watch, just to kind of get lost, look up in the trees or something. Like, I mean, you're just kind of getting lost in something else for the moment. Really, that's it. And yeah, it's pretty crazy how I did that, but it really helped. It really helped.
And how about talk to me about like your mentality when you were playing so well early, and you built, a significant cushion. Is it also hard to say, "Hey, this is a 36 hole match, there's so much golf left and this guy's such a competitor that, it's not safe." Did that weigh on you at all?
Yeah, being 5 up after 18 holes, I mean, I knew he was gonna come out and play well in the second 18. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew it. So I knew I had to go out and play well, which I did. I mean, I shot the equivalent of 2 under par in the second 18,
Yeah.
and he shot the equivalent of 7 under par, and which could have been, you know, he could have shot 10 under that afternoon. He played so well. He missed just a couple putts around the front edge, and like, it was I mean, he played completely different than he did in the morning. I mean, it was just it's remarkable with everything he had riding on that match, not only the golf history, the maybe turning professional, the Nike $40 million Nike contract. I mean, like there was so much riding on that match, and for him to compartmentalize all that and just go and play the way he did was just, I mean, it's one of the greatest rounds of golf ever.
Yeah. I For Marion, as we lead up to the USM in August, I've done an interview for the last like 2 years with a competitor from the 2005 USM. I did one with JC Deacon, which was fun, and so
Yep.
many of those guys just talk about how crazy it is in match play when you just catch somebody who just goes crazy like that, and there's nothing you can do. It's match play. It's just wild. Like, it's just unbelievable how that works sometimes. And sometimes, you play well and you shoot even par, and it's nowhere near enough. And sometimes you play poorly and shoot even par, and it's good enough to win. Just crazy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It is. It is. Match play is a totally different game. It's a totally different animal, and so I love it though. I love the fact that each hole is its own tournament, and it really makes me play golf in the present. I think stroke play, it allows you to look in the past or the future too much, right? Because all the shots carry over, and so but in match play, you make a 10 and your opponent makes a 4, you're only one down, and I think that's the beauty of it. Like it doesn't put it puts less pressure on each shot, I think.
Yep. Yep. That makes sense. Um, and the weight you mentioned in the book, in between 18s, wasn't favorable. Um, Is that something that you think about like often? Like, man, why the heck was that delay so long? Why was it 90 minutes and not 40 minutes? Or I don't know if there's a standard. I forget what you mentioned in the book.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. I think it had to do a lot with the TV coverage and the fact that if I win a few holes early in that second 18, I mean, I could be 7 up with 9 to play, and the match could be over almost. And so I don't know. I think that that was probably part of it. They wanted to make sure that we at least went a little longer on TV. So yeah, I don't know. No rhyme or reason. I mean, I guess that was had to be the reason.
Yep. Yep. All right. We got to talk about the flop shot. All right. Walk me through it.
Yeah.
Um, the shots leading up to it on the hole and what you're thinking standing over the golf ball. It was a shot that you had to flop it and it had to go in or you were in trouble, right?
Yeah, I mean the green runs away from you, and Tiger's on the green about 30 feet away. He doesn't have a gimme birdie by any means. And Yeah, I got up there, and the ball's a little above my feet, which helps it elevate, and it was a little on an upslope, which helps it get up in the air as well. And it was just perfect, really. I mean, I'd hit that shot many times before, but to make it in that circumstance was pretty remarkable for sure.
And does Christy still give you a hard time about ignoring her when she was trying to celebrate with you?
Yeah. She wanted to give me a high five, and I totally, didn't even. I don't know. I was just in my own little world for a second, and she slapped me on the back, and we moved on to the back of the green. But yeah, she'll needle me on that for sure.
Can you talk a little bit about how I like how you mentioned Pumpkin Ridge that the right to left shots that it required really, suited your game. And that's something that is that something you noticed the first time you played it?
Not really. No, I mean, I don't know. Looking back, I always kind of wondered, why did I play so well there? Why did that course fit me? And yeah, there were so many shots that were right to left shots that I mean, it's kind of remarkable, really, how many that it really. I mean, there's not too many shots that really required a fade. Um, yeah, I don't know. I love the I just I look back, and yeah, I mean, so many shots were either like, you could hit a straight ball or you could draw it, and it didn't really you didn't need to hit a fade. Um, so I don't know. It just worked.
Was there a moment on the back nine there where, after the flop shot where you felt like, wait a minute, like I got some momentum, but then like things kind of turned back toward Tiger's favor and, again, he's probably like the robot like person that he is was like, I can still win when so many people would crumble after that. You made a comeback, you make this flop shot, you kind of held on to your lead, and then some guys would have faltered, but he somehow has this ability just to like continue to put the pedal down no matter what the heck is happening. Was there a point where you were like, wait a minute, this guy just will not stop?
Yeah, pretty much the whole second 18. Yeah, he's just I mean, just unbelievable how he flipped a switch from the morning 18 to the second 18, and yeah, that putt on the 11th hole he made for eagle was, I mean, after the flop shot I made, I'm mind you, I'm up there. I've got 3 feet for birdie. Like, I'm going to make birdie,
Yep.
and he's got a putt. You could three putt half the time. I mean, it was not an easy putt. Um, and he makes it. And so, instead of at least tying the hole, I lose the hole. It's like, okay, well, I thought I could, there was a good scenario where I could have won it.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyway, it's just he just pulled a lot of rabbits out of his hat and continued to do that throughout his professional career.
Yeah, and sure did. Um, when the match is over, you mentioned this in the book and how, at the speeches, Tiger didn't, acknowledge you and you did, and that's something that's kind of ingrained in you to respect the game. Not saying that Tiger disrespected it, but for whatever reason, he didn't acknowledge you afterward. Um, and I really liked how you decided to write that open letter to him, just kind of laying everything out there. Is that something you knew that you were going to do at the start of the book, or when did that, pop into the picture, writing that open letter to him?
Yeah, I don't know. We actually had to change the letter a bit because my initial letter didn't have that was before he had that awful car accident
Hmm.
in Los Angeles. So I had to kind of tweak some of the wording of it, but the whole idea remained the same. That it'd be really cool to someday sit and talk about that match. And
Yeah.
I think we will. I actually talked to him last year. I was covering a golf tournament that his son was playing, and in Pinehurst, and we chatted for a couple minutes here and there and a couple of rounds. And but didn't ever get too deep into anything. But it was cool to see him and get to say hello. And um, that was pretty cool.
And like you mentioned a few times in the book, the telling him to move his mark back was something that you probably didn't even ponder, right? It was just, he didn't move his mark back. I'm telling
Correct.
him, like, there's nothing like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Right? It was just, this is the way to do it. You did it.
It was a complete reflex action.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. As a golfer, you learn at a young age that's you play by the rules, and the spirit of the game of golf is just that. It's you help your opponent uh find a golf ball in the woods. There's no other sport where you assist your opponent, and it could turn around and end up you know
Right.
costing you the match.
Yeah. Yeah.
um and there's no other sport that does that. And I think that's yeah, it's just the hallmark of that moment, the hallmark of the book. It's doing the right thing is the right thing, no matter what the outcome is. You 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 have to look at yourself in the mirror. If I would have not said anything, whether on purpose or maybe I just forgot, like, I would, and maybe I would have won the match. It would have been a very, I don't know. I think to this day it would have been very empty.
Yeah. Yep.
And people could have looked at that like, it maybe not have remembered me for winning as much as Tiger losing. I don't know. It happened the way it was supposed to happen. I've got a lot of mileage out of the moment, doing the right thing, and people remember that. And a lot of times, people remember how you act way more than what the final score is. And so that's the way I try to live my life. And I'm always proud of that. I never look back and say, what if I just kept my mouth shut? I don't think about that. I haven't lost any sleep about it at all. And I'm very proud of that I learned that in the game. And passing that along to anybody else who will listen.
Yeah, yeah, you should be proud of it for sure. And, obviously it wouldn't have been, your fault, you know, per se, but if you hadn't told him, because let's say you just weren't paying attention, you probably would have received like a ton of backlash, don't you think? Like, this is the guy who prevented Tiger from winning, three straight USMs. Like, he doesn't know the rules.
Yeah, I would have probably looked like the villain, right?
Yeah, for sure, for
And
sure.
it could have been very innocent. I mean, in the moment, you're I don't know. The last thing you're really thinking of, you're just focused on yourself and trying to play great. And there's so much pressure. And there was so many things that could have prevented me from telling him, and just very innocently, it would have been
Yeah,
nothing that I would have consciously done. It was just like, oh man, I forgot. And and you had to do it in that moment, or else, I couldn't have gone back 5 minutes later and been
right.
like, after he putted it from the wrong spot. Oh, by the way, like, then, it wouldn't have been right. And I'm glad it happened the way it happened, honestly.
And how awesome was it to to experience that with Christy? She did a great job too, in her afterward. I thought it was really well done, and it was nice to hear things from her point of view. It just must have been
Yeah.
such a special experience for you guys to share.
It was, like, yeah, she did a great job in her part. And she's just a great caddy. We've been married for almost 27 years now. So she's a phenomenal life partner, in so many ways. And yeah, that was cool to have her perspective written down in that for, you know future generations of Scots and future generations of golfers and caddies, everybody to understand, what it was like to be in that moment from her perspective, not never hitting a shot.
Tell me a little bit about what you're up to now and how you've kind of, found another life in golf after your the competitive side. I know you've been in the club pro business for a while, but
Yeah,
can you talk about
yeah,
your what you're doing now?
yeah. I've been a PGA of America professional for about 20 years now. So I was a head pro at a few different clubs up in New Jersey and New York for 9 years and a few other years as an assistant. And now I run a competitive amateur golfing society called the Silver Club Golfing Society, and for single digit handicaps. And we set up events at clubs all over the country and around the world. And we have members of our society like you would any normal club. And so yeah, it's really cool. Everybody can play a little bit. They appreciate the game. They love to play architecturally significant courses, and so we get to, go around and help kind of be the conduit between our members and, the ability to play a world class golf course. And often I'll play with them and, share my stories along the way and some swing thoughts and whatever. And so I love doing that. That means a lot to me to, stay connected to the game in that respect. I'm also connected to the game in the golf broadcasting world. I do a lot of work for ESPN and PGA Tour Live. So you'll see me on ESPN coverage there with that. There's another entity called Baby Grand Golf that's actually covering a lot of. It's kind of the premier entity covering amateur golf, college golf, junior golf. So I'm associated with that. That's an up and coming streaming entity, and it's been really great. And so yeah, I love talking about the game. I love learning who the next up and coming players are. I love to stay connected with my Walker Cup brethren and go to the Walker Cups. I'll be at La Hinch this September. I was at Cypress Point last year. I was at the Old Course before that, Seminole before that. I love being a part of that.
How often does the 96 USM pop into your head? I mean, I'm sure it does frequently when you play in these events and people, bring it up, but on your own without somebody bringing it up, how often does it pop into your head?
Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, yeah, it's something I look back at. Obviously I didn't win that match, but man, I played my heart out. I under the most extreme circumstances. So whenever I play competitively, I think about it. Yeah, there's an awful lot of times where I think about it. I've done a whole bunch of speaking engagements about it, surrounding the book, and I'll continue to do more. And yeah, I think about it a lot. But it's such an amazing story to think that I was that guy in that moment against one of the greatest, if not the greatest golfer who's ever lived. So there's nothing but pride I have from that moment. And so, I don't mind thinking about it or talking about it as much as anybody wants me to.
Tell people how they can get a hold of the book.
Yeah, you go on movethatback.com, and you can buy the book through there. You can also buy it through Amazon, but through the website movethatback.com, I'll sign it and send you a cool little ball marker as a memento and a bookmark and all of that with it. And I'll personally sign it to you. So that's probably the best way to do it if you want a personally signed copy.
Yeah, I got one for my dad for Father's Day one year. You signed it for him. My dad and
Great.
my uncle caddied on tour in the '70s. My dad caddied for Tom Pertzer and then Jim Simons for a little bit. And my uncle, Neil Oxman, caddied for Tom Watson after Bruce Edwards died. So um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got a lot of golf running through my blood.
Yeah, it's a great game, isn't it?
Sure is. I really appreciate the time, Steve. Thanks so much for making it happen. And I'm gonna shoot Colin Sheehan a note for connecting us. And I'll keep you posted when the podcast episode comes out.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Well, that's it for this interview of That's Good, Pick It Up, where Nate was talking with Steve Scott on a two-parter about his book, Hey Tiger, You Need to Move Your Mark Back. Please be sure to follow this and other shows on the Best Ball family by visiting bestball.com. We'll be back next week for more stories. That's good. Pick it up.